Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I make snuggle sacks for my guinea pigs. As you can see, Snickers really loves his snuggle sack that I've made him, and so does Domino. It's a great item to keep your piggies warm in the winter, especially if you live in a colder climate. I personally live in a climate where it does not get cold in winter, but I know in a lot of places it snows and your piggies can get quite cold. I also just love making snuggle sacks because they're really cute and a great cozy item to have in your guinea pig's cage. Let's get into the video so you can make a snuggle sack of your very own. To start, cut out some patterned fleece measuring 28 inches by 14 inches. This fleece pattern looks really dark on camera, but when you zoom in you can kind of see it's a bit lighter. Anyway, you're also going to need a solid color fleece measuring 27 inches by 17 inches. And lastly, you will need a Uhaul pad measuring 28 inches by 13 inches. Now we're going to prep the solid color fleece. Fold it in half just like this and make sure the good sides are facing towards each other. Line up the edges and pin the fabric if you need to. Line up the needle with the fabric, making sure the two pieces of fleece will be sewn securely together. We're going to sew all the way along the long side and along the shorter side to make it a sack. So as you saw there, I kind of forgot I was making a snuggle sack and I stopped sewing, which don't do that. Just keep sewing until you reach the end of the shorter side because this is not a tunnel. This is a snuggle sack. I'm just very used to making tunnels, I guess. Once you're done stitching, you can go ahead and pull your fabric off the machine. It should look something like this, you know, kind of resembling a sack. We're going to move on to this patterned fleece. Take whatever patterned fleece you've chosen and lay it down on the table, making sure the good side is facing down towards the table and the bad side is facing up towards you. Then put the U-Haul padding on top of the patterned fleece, and we're going to pin the patterned fleece to the U-Haul padding, as you will see in a moment. Just kidding, I somehow accidentally deleted the footage of me pinning this fabric, but here's an example of what this fabric will look like, except for obviously the different dimensions and a snuggle sack instead of a tunnel. Sorry about that, I don't know what happened to my footage. So here's the snuggle sack. Once it's all pinned up, you can kind of see how I pinned it, and we're just going to sew all the way along the guidelines you made for yourself with the pins. I definitely struggled a lot here because it was kind of thick and hard to sew, and my sewing machine just didn't want to deal with this today. Once you're done with this side, just move on to the next side and do the same exact thing you just did. For some reason, I didn't make a video clip showing this step, but the next step is to fold your fleece after you're done sewing those two lines. Make sure you're still sewing inside out. It should be kind of folded in half, and you're going to pin it like you can see I did and just sew all the way down and all the way across like you'll see in a minute. I'm sorry if this makes no sense. I tried my best explaining it. Instead of ending the stitch there, I'm actually going to continue sewing all the way along so it makes a sack shape instead of a tunnel.
So then,
I'm pretty sure this is where my phone died, so I had to take a short break and come back. If you're wondering why the angle is different, that would be why. Anyway, just continue sewing until you reach the end. Now you have this sack shape and you're just going to turn it inside out so it actually has the right side and it becomes this little sack. One thing that helps me a lot is this little corner pusher tool thing. You basically just put it inside and push the corners out, and I find that's the best way for me to do it without harming the fleece, because if I were to put like scissors in there, I'd be afraid of cutting the fleece instead of just pushing the corners out. To combine the fleeces, put the solid color fleece sack you sewed inside of the patterned fleece to make a cozy little sack. Fold the solid color fleece on top of the patterned fleece a couple times and just really make sure it is on the patterned fleece, so when you sew, you'll sew through all of the layers and you won't have any weird holes or gaps. After you pin your fabric, you're ready to sew. Line up your needle however you would like. I like to sew closer to the edge because I just think it gives it a nicer look, but I know some people like to sew closer to the middle. After you line up your needle and start sewing, just try to keep it in a straight line. I couldn't get it in a fully straight line, but I think it ended up looking pretty good. Keep sewing all the way around the fleece until you reach the end. Here's what my completed snuggle sack looks like. There is a little bit of uneven stitching due to me not keeping the needle in an exactly straight line, but overall I'm very happy with how it looks. I love sewing snuggle sacks and I just think they're adorable little cozy items for your guinea pigs. I forgot to film an outro, but I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!